All right, guys, we're going to be doing 3 chapters today instead of 4 because I don't want to read too much and kind of forget a lot of stuff because this is it's going to be a long process. So I'm going to do 3 chapters today. So we left off last time at Genesis. We left off ending on chapter 4. So we'll read 5 through 8. So this is Genesis chapter 5, the line of Seth. So it says, "This is the document containing the family records of Adam. On the day that God created man, he made him in the likeness of God. He created them male and female, and when they were created, he blessed them and called them mankind. So Adam was 130 years old when he fathered a son in his likeness, according to his image, and named him Seth. Adam lived 800 years after he fathered Seth, and he fathered other sons and daughters. So Adam's life lasted 930 years, and then he died." Dude was old. Seth was 105 when he fathered Enosh. Seth lived 807 years after he fathered Enosh, and he fathered other sons and daughters. So Seth's life lasted 912 years. Then he died. Enosh was 90 years old when he fathered Kenan. Enosh lived 815 years after he fathered Kenan, and he fathered other sons and daughters. So Enosh's life lasted around 905 years. Then he died. Well, not around. It lasted 905 years, and then he died. Kenan was 70 years old when he fathered Mahaliah. Kenan lived 840 years after he fathered Mahalalel. Sorry. These names are going to be butchered really bad. I do apologize. I'm not the best reader, but this is me trying to read it. Mahalalel lived 830 years after he fathered Jared, and he fathered Jared and other sons and daughters. So Mahalalel's life lasted 895 years, and then he died. Jared was 162 years old when he fathered Enoch. Jared lived 800 years after he fathered Enoch, and he fathered other sons and daughters. So Jared's life lasted 962 years, then he died. Verse 21, Enoch was 65 years old when he fathered Methuselah, and after he fathered Methuselah, Enoch walked with God 300 years, and he fathered other sons and daughters. So Enoch's life lasted 365 years. Enoch walked with God, and he was not there because God took him. And that's something really interesting, too, because he's one of the very few people that didn't die, but God took. Methuselah was 187 years old when he fathered Lamech. Methuselah lived 782 years after he fathered Lamech, and he fathered other sons and daughters. So Methuselah's life lasted 969 years. Then he died. Lamech was 182 years old when he fathered a son. And also really quick, to go back to Enoch, it's crazy. He died at the age of 365, and there's 365 days in a year. So that was interesting. Lamech was 182 years old. Verse 28. Lamech was 182 years old when he fathered a son, and he named him Noah, saying, "This one will bring us relief from the agonizing labor of our hands, caused by the ground the Lord has cursed." Lamech lived to be 595 years after he fathered Noah, and he fathered other sons and daughters. So Lamech's life lasted 777 years. Then he died. That's a very interesting number, 777. So Noah was 500 years old when he fathered Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Japheth? Yeah, Japheth. Chapter 6. This title is Sons of God and Daughters of Mankind. So when mankind began to multiply on the earth, and daughters were born to them, the sons of God saw that the daughters of mankind were beautiful. Oh, this is the part where they're talking about the sons of God. Quick side note, let me read something else than the study part. So it says, in the study verse, the verse begins to build the case that there was something terribly wrong about the way in which God's command to multiply was being fulfilled. Using language that parallels the sequence leading to humanity's first sin in the garden, the sons of God first saw something that they thought was good and took what they desired for themselves. Controversy surrounds the phrase the sons of God's. 3 different basic positions have been staked out regarding the identity of the sons. They have been understood as heavenly beings, which is an ancient Jewish position still accepted by many to this day, as kings or men of high status, and as men from the godly line of Seth. Favoring their identity as heavenly beings like angels is a fact that elsewhere in the Old Testament, the phrase sons of God refers to heavenly creatures, and the New Testament refers to fallen angels. And that's in Job and in 2nd Psalms. Oh, no. Oh, 2 Peter. Those who accept this view hold that the sin that prompted God's anger in this passage was a violation of Genesis 2:24, brought by sexual relations between humans and angelic beings, resulting in the creation of the Nephilim. But this view has its difficulties. For instance, Jesus indicated that angels do not marry, and Paul used the phrase sons of God to refer to godly people and not angels. So there's a whole breakdown. This crazy, there's a whole breakdown of that. This particular verse. The view that sons of God are kings or aristocrats is supported by the fact that Elohim, the common Hebrew word for God, is sometimes applied to persons who have had great social power. Psalms 82 and John 10. And advocates of this position say that the daughters of mankind were people of lower status, social status. Thus, the passage is thought that to indicate possible abuse of lower class women by licentious men of privilege. Interpreters who take this view do not necessarily connect the Nephilim with the marriages. The third position is the most popular among all the evangelical Christians. It assumes that the sons of God were descendants of godly Seth, while the daughters of mankind were descendants of ungodly Cain. Assuming the descendants of both men were kept true to the moral examples set by their respective ancestors, the union of these two spiritually incompatible lines was contradictory to God's will, which is in 2 Corinthians 6, and resulted in the total corruption of humanity represented by Nephilim. I still think it's more of the angelic beings, but we'll get into that another day. Okay, so let's go back to this. Chapter 6. When mankind began to multiply on the earth, the daughters were born to the sons of God. Born to them, the sons of God saw that the daughters of mankind were beautiful, and they took any chance, and they chose as wives for themselves. And the Lord said, my spirit will not remain with mankind forever, because they are corrupt. Their days will be 120 years. The Nephilim were on the earth both in those days and afterward, when the sons of God came to the daughters of mankind, who bore children to them. They were powerful men. They were the powerful men of old, the famous men. Verse 5. When the Lord saw that human wickedness was widespread on the earth, and that every inclination of the human mind was nothing but evil all the time, the Lord regretted that he had made man on earth, and he was deeply grieved. Then the Lord said, I will wipe mankind, whom I created off the face of the earth, together with the animals, the creatures that crawl, the birds of the sky, for I regret that I made them. Noah, however, found favor with the Lord. So verse 9. These are family records of Noah. Noah was a righteous man, blameless among his contemporaries. Noah walked with God, and Noah fathered 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Now the earth was corrupt in God's sight, and the earth was filled with wickedness. God saw how corrupt the earth was, and every creature had corrupted its way on the earth. Then God said to Noah, I have decided to put an end to every creature, for the earth is filled with wickedness because of them. Therefore, I'm going to destroy them along with the earth. Make yourself an ark of gopher wood. Make yourself an ark of gopher wood. Make rooms in the ark and cover it with pitch inside and out. This is how you are able to make it. The ark will be 450 feet long, 75 feet wide, and 45 feet high. And you are to make a roof, finishing the sides of the ark within 18 inches of the roof. This is very specific. Dang, God was really, really specific on this. You are to make a roof, finish the sides of the ark within 18 inches of the roof. You are to put a door in the inside of the ark. Make it with low, middle, and upper decks. Verse 17. Understand that I am bringing a flood waters on the earth to destroy every creature under heaven with the breath of life in it. Everything on earth will perish, but I will establish my covenant with you, and you will enter the ark with your sons and your wife and your sons' wives, and you are also to bring into the ark all of the living creatures, male and female, to keep them alive with you. 2 of everything, from the birds according to their kinds, from the livestock according to their kinds, and from the animals that crawl on the ground according to their kinds will come to you so that you can keep them alive. Take with you every kind of food that is eaten, gather it as food for you and for them. And Noah did this. He did everything that God commanded. Entering the ark, chapter 7. Then the Lord said to Noah, enter the ark, and you and all your household, for I have seen that you alone are righteous before me in this generation. You are to take with you 7 pairs, a male and his female, of all the clean animals, and 2 of the animals that are not clean, male and his female, and 7 pairs of male and female of the birds of the sky, in order to keep offspring alive throughout the earth. 7 days from now I will make it rain on the earth, 40 days and 40 nights, and every living creature, or every living thing I have made, I will wipe off the face of the earth. And Noah did everything that the Lord had commanded him. This is crazy. There's something else I want to say. I'm on verse 6 right now, but there's something else I wanted to say about. Oh, it says that God, if you go back to the 6th chapter, God said to Noah, it was in verse 13. Verse 9. Noah was a righteous man and blameless among his contemporaries. And I think in the King James Version it says he was perfected in God's will or something like that. But I was reading a study about it, and they were saying that they think that he picked Noah because Noah was one of the few, if not the only person who was not corrupted as a Nephilim, which was he wasn't the last person that was birthed from the, angelic being to human wives. So that's another topic, though. All right, going back to chapter 7, verse 6. Noah was 600 years old when the flood came and water covered the earth. So Noah and his sons, his wife, and his sons' wives entered the ark because of the flood waters. From the clean animals, unclean animals, and every creature that crawls on the ground, 2 of each, male and female, came to Noah and entered the ark, just as God had commanded him. 7 days later, the flood waters came on the earth. Verse 11. In the 600th year of Noah's life, in the 2nd month, on the 17th day of the month, on that day, all the sources of the vast watery depths burst open, and the floodgates of the sky water were opened, and the rain fell on the earth 40 days and 40 nights. On that same day, Noah, along with his sons Shem, Ham, and Japheth, Noah's wife, and his 3 sons' wives, entered the ark with him. They entered it with all of their wildlife according to their kinds, all livestock according to their kinds, and all creatures that crawl on the earth according to their kinds, every flying creature, all the birds, and every winged creature according to their kinds. 2 of every creature that has breath in the life, it came to Noah and entered the ark. Those that entered, male and female of every creature, entered just as God had commanded him. The Lord shut him in. The flood continued for 40 days and 40 nights. We're on verse 17. 40 days, The flood continued for 40 days on the earth. The water increased and lifted up the ark so that it rose above the earth. The water surged and increased greatly on the earth, and the ark floated on the surface of the water. Then the water surged even higher on the earth and all the high mountains underneath the whole sky that were covered. The mountains were covered as the water surged above them more than 20 feet. Every creature perished, those that crawl on the earth, birds, livestock, wildlife, and all those that swarm on the earth, as well as all of mankind, everything that had breath of the spirit of life in its nostrils, everything on dry land died. He wiped out every living thing that was on the face of the earth, from mankind to livestock to creatures that crawl to the birds of the sky, and they were wiped off the earth. Only Noah was left, and those that were with him in the ark. And the water surged on the earth for 150 days. So 150 days, he was pretty much at sea above the earth. That's crazy. That's crazy. Maybe I'll read chapter 8 real quick. We'll do 4 chapters. The flood recedes. God remembered Noah as well as all the wildlife and the livestock that were with him on the ark. God caused a wind to pass over the earth, and the water began to subside. The sources of the watery depths and the floodgates of the sky were closed, and the rain from the sky stopped. The water steadily receded from the earth, and by the end of 150 days, the water had decreased significantly. The ark came to rest in the 7th month. So 3, 6, 9, 12. That's 5 months. I see. Dang, 150 days. That's 5 months. Jeez. So the ark came to rest in the 7th month on the 17th day of the month on the mountains of Ararat. The water continued to recede until the 10th month. In the 10th month, on the first day of the month, the tops of the mountains were visible. After 40 days, Noah opened the window of the ark and he had made and had sent out a raven, and it went back and forth until the water had dried up from the earth. He then sent out a dove to see whether the water on the earth's surface had gone down, but the dove found no resting place for its foot. It returned back to the ark because the water covered the surface of the earth still. He reached out and brought it back in the ark to himself. So Noah waited 7 more days and sent out the dove from the ark again. Then the dove came to him at evening, and there was a plucked olive leaf in its beak. So Noah knew that the water on the earth's surface had gone down. After he waited another 7 days, he sent out the dove again, but it did not return to him. In the 601st year, in the 1st month, on the 1st day of the month, the water that had covered the earth was dried, and then Noah removed the ark's cover and saw that the surface of the ground was drying. On the 27th day of the 2nd month, the earth was dry. This is the Lord's promise, on verse 15. Then God spoke to Noah, "Come out of your ark, you and your wife and your sons wives with you. Bring all the living creatures that are there with you, birds, livestock, those that crawl on the earth, and they will spread over the earth and be fruitful and multiply on the earth." So Noah, along with his sons and wives and his sons' wives, his wife and his sons' wives came out. Verse 19, all the creatures that crawl and all the flying creatures, everything that moves on the earth, came out of the ark by the families. But then Noah built an altar to the Lord. He took some of every kind of clean animal and every kind of clean bird and offered burnt offerings on the altar. When the Lord smelled the pleasing aroma, he said to himself, "I will never again curse the ground because of human beings, even though the inclination of the human heart is evil from youth onward. I will never again strike down every living thing that thing as I have done. As long as the earth endures, seed time and harvest, cold and heat, summer, winter, and day and night will not cease." We're going to stop there. But, dang, it's crazy. Like, man, God was ruthless, man. Like, don't play with God. Like, in the Old Testament, don't play with God in the Old Testament. Like, we have it made now. Like, people can get away doing a lot of stuff. But back then, he was smiting niggas. Like, it's crazy. Like, he was really smiting people up. And, yeah, it's crazy. All right. We'll do chapter 9 through 12 tomorrow.